Hey guys, welcome to the lab, where we experiment thoughts and life as we break down and discover our ever growing life as a young adult. Today we have Sarah, aka IMISS of IMI Dance. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Sarah, or you could call me Imis. And hey, peace.
Can you give us a little introduction of who you are? What do you do? Of course, like everyone pretty much knows you, but 모르는 사람들을 위해서?
Ah, okay. Well, my name is Sarah, and I use the name as Imis just because I'm running a dance studio called IMI Dance Studio, and my full name is Sarah Shin. So I just put that together as IMISS. So that's why I'm kind of called Imis. I am a dancer. I'm an instructor and a choreographer in Sydney, Australia, and we're running a studio in Lickham.
You've danced for more than 10 years, and I think a lot of people knows you as, oh, you used to be a 연습생 of YG, and like you were part of Miss A and stuff, right? But
YG,
what wait,
JYP,
it's wait, it's JYP or YG? Sorry, like I'm just like completely out of the scene right
JYP.
now. JYP.
You're like YG, and then you're like, 누구라 그랬지? Miss A.
Miss
Miss A
A?
is JYP.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad. Oh, but anyways, yes. 긴장, 긴장, 긴장.
yeah.
Anyways. Okay, 다시. So, you've been dancing for more than 10 years. You were a 연습생 of JYP. But what made you
Mm.
want to dance and like did you move to Korea from Sydney or were you in Korea when you wanted to do that? But like what was that transition of you becoming JYP and 연습생?
All right. So yeah, I was a trainee at JYP Entertainment. It's in South Korea. I was just casually just like a normal high school student in Australia. But then the JYP Entertainment wanted to do a rain concert. So that's when Rain used to be in the entertainment. So the 과장님, so I don't know what you call that in English, but yeah, a manager wanted to come to Sydney to check it out, the location for the show. And somebody that I knew, a friend of mine, was the person that was taking her around. So I was very lucky to have a chance to be able to be scouted by her because yeah, it was just like a casual meetup. And then she just tested me a little bit, saw a few things from me, and then she took it to Korea. And then I got scouted. And so that's how I just took on that chance to be able to go. And I flew out to Korea and was a trainee since then.
Wow, wow. So were you part of Miss A as well?
So a lot of talks are on that. So I was training with the team with Miss A, but yeah, if I probably did
Mm,
stay, I probably would have been with that team. But
wow.
yeah, it's because we were doing a Chinese program together, and a lot of people were kind of grouping us as a team. So we
Yeah.
naturally became a team.
Oh, because I didn't know until Susie like showed us a photo of you. I was like,
Um,
huh? Like I didn't know that.
it's like a secret, but she exposed it. Yeah, but I used to train together with them as a group.
Wow. Wow. Do you like miss that experience?
Yes, I could say I do miss the experience. Just because, when I was younger, I thought that it was too hard training. Like this
Mm,
was too much, it's out of my comfort zone. But like later now, like as I'm more mature and I'm in a total different environment, I do miss
mm,
those times where it's pretty like everyone's passionate and there's a lot of training going on as well, and a lot of
mm,
opportunity, first of all. So
mm.
yeah, I do miss those times, but I never regret being where I am right now as well.
Wow, wow. I think like when you step inside of the entertainment industry, it's like you choose either like number one, you become a K-pop star, number two, you become a dancer, or number three, you're just out of the whole industry and you just become a normal being. But
Mm.
what made you want to become the dancer?
Um, when I left the entertainment, I thought that I would not be singing or dancing ever again. Like, I thought, okay, I thought when I was there, the reason why I wanted to quit was because I didn't like singing and dancing, maybe because of the
Mm,
training that I was getting there. But later on, did I realize that, wow, like dance is the gift that I've been given, and I love dance. And yeah, it was just the opportunity that allowed me to do it. The opportunity of being able to teach one of my profession. And then as I went deep into that, I guess it just became something that I wanted to do continuously.
wow. Yeah, I think definitely for sure dancing is a gift that you have because when you don't dance, you're like this smiley, bubbly person. And when that dancing side of you kicks in, it's just like charisma. It's just like a different side of Sarah. And people would be like, oh, like 눈빛이 다르다. And I never understood that. But now stepping out and being able to see that, it's just like, oh, maybe this is what people were saying. But do you ever feel that for
Wow.
yourself? Like when you dance and when you don't dance, do you feel that characteristic change?
Um, I think I am, yeah, obviously, because as a dancer, you're performing a lot of the times as well. So you'll do on a face that you wouldn't do naturally in front of your friends because they're going to be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
True,
So I'm
true,
not going to
true.
talk to them like this, you know? So I guess I'm not, this is my real personality, but yeah, being as a dancer, I think you always do need to have the stage performance side of you
Mm.
and a different side of you. What was the question?
Like 춤을 출 때, you know how you dance? And
Mm.
when you're in the dancer mode, you have that dancing Sarah side of you. But then when you're
Uh,
not dancing, you have like a normal Sarah side of you. Do you feel that there is a change
mm,
between those two sides, like life differences?
mm. I kind of think that it's pretty much similar. Like I try to
Mm.
be who I am when I dance as well. But of course, as a dancer, everyone has their kind of stage performance face on. And I wouldn't do
Mm-mm.
that usually in front of my friends that are non-dancers because they'll be like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, definitely I do see the differences. Um, and that I think that's all part of art and dancing and performing. So yeah,
Mm.
I'll say there is a
You have a weight of being an influencer to other people, but does that sometimes burden you?
being like really honest, it's actually like a very grateful thing. Like it's not one of those like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of it or anything. It's one of those things of like a bit of pressure where you feel like you have to be producing the best every single time and
Mm.
providing more and more opportunities and values when
Mm.
I myself might need the time to grow and learn. Sometimes being labeled as an instructor just kind of
Mm.
puts the pressure on a bit there, but
Mm.
definitely I do feel that like if the followings and stuff, like I don't think I have a big following at all, but like even those followings, even though it's one or two people, like I do take a lot of responsibility for those few people. So I guess how I act and how I, what I say within those classes and to the students will matter. So I do try to continuously learn and have a mentor myself so that I am learning and growing from that as well.
Wow. And what kind of influences did you get as a dancer? What is that one influence that influenced you to carry on to dance?
If the question is what made you carry on to dance, I think I would really say it's because of my team and students a lot of the times. Yeah, that'll be my really honest answer. Like, because dancers all go through slumps, they go through the good stages, it's all mixed and
Mm.
matched. But for me, especially being in Australia, where the environment is very different to Korea,
Mm.
like less opportunities and everything, I just only focused on, okay, how can we create an opportunity for our community? Like the type of students that's here and who loves K-pop, or like starting with that, like at first it felt like it'll be impossible just because, you could feel that when you're a foreigner, you could feel like that's not possible. But
Mm.
I think all the students that stayed by with me and um, just how I met Rue and just more and more people that's in the same community, it just became that push for me to go on. And with influence, I would really just say it's actually not surprisingly like a teacher or a dancer that's here. It was actually the students and the friends and yeah, the team.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. I think that's so 멋있어. It's like most of the people, they're like, they do it because they have fans or they do it because just for the show, just for the sake of showing themselves off. But it's so humble in a
Mm.
way that you chose and that you said that you do it for the students, you do it for your team, that you do it for your friends. because I don't think
Mhm.
there's a lot of people who would choose that way. And especially like when you're given the opportunity to stay in Korea, where there's so many opportunities, there's so many networkings that you can do with just one person as well. And you've already stepped that foot inside of the industry. And coming to Sydney, Australia, like there's literally nothing here. But
Yeah.
like even when you started, of course you wouldn't start just with the students because 시작했을 때 I'm assuming that there would have been nothing and no one. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was the drive that you still wanted to dance in Australia and that you still wanted to do something here? Like did you see that there's something that you can do here, or was it that, oh, I want to be the first Asian to make a mark here in Sydney, or was there anything something like that?
Wow. Okay. So yeah, again, that will my answer will be similar to the one before. It's more
Mm,
than like, of course, I did it for my career as well and the growth and everything. But seriously, being in a country where there's not much opportunities and and less hustle, it's only going to be the teammates and the people around you that's
mm,
going to be the
mm,
reason to do it. And as you continuously, stay grounded in that, the opportunities came, and that's
mm.
how it was able to grow, I guess. So yeah, I think because my family was here as well. It's like one of those
Facts,
things that
facts.
you have to stay here. You got no
Yeah.
other choice as well. But
Mm,
even though I was like, when I was a bit more younger and my friends from Korea or like those opportunities were still coming to me through messages and stuff, why don't you come? Like the reason why I was like never able to just be like, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to stay here, I'm going to go, was
mm.
because of a lot of my friends and students.
Wow. Because you are a person who experienced both Korea and Sydney and like both scenes in both countries, what is something that we can bring from Korea and what is something that Sydney can give to Korea?
Oh, okay. So Ryu always talks a lot about that. I think I'm too busy
Oh.
focusing on the people around me or the assignment that's given to me at the front. But I've
Mm.
been given a visionary husband who's always seeing outside the box. So I
Oh
guess
yeah.
that's kind of implemented in my mind. Like he always says, Australia, Sydney can do it as well. He's very
Oh.
proud about Sydney because he's been here his whole life. And I'll be really honest, as someone that's been in Korea and saw how this field works,
Mm.
I'll be really honest. Like I did think that there's no way Sydney can do it. It's just
Mm.
I was just like the passion level of the people are different, the
Mm.
opportunities different. I thought that, but um, I think that's the medio. Well, that's the what do you call it?
Charm?
There's a charm about Sydney as well. Like there's less,
Mm.
obviously less competition and that like kind of competitive environment. It's
Yeah.
for you could actually grow over here as long as you're like focused with the right people. You can do it with
Mm.
fun.
Oh
It
yeah, that's
doesn't
so
have to be
true.
stressful as Korea. You
Mm.
can still do it here, but in a different way. And I'm hoping that us as an IMI entertainment, that's what we want to create. Just using the experience that I had, like there was so many good things about the trainings there as well, but there was things I was just like I kind of didn't agree with, that you don't have to do it to that
Mm.
extent, and you
Mm.
can still love music and dance. And
Mm.
yeah, it's just that step of starting it here, I guess, which is the structures, the good things, the strength that Korea has, using that experience to do it in Sydney is probably what we will say, oh, okay, we're getting from Korea, like
Mm.
the experience that I had there is going to be what's um, helpful for me, I
Yeah.
guess, in Sydney, Australia. And for
Mm.
Sydney to give to Australia, I guess will be us giving the opportunity for the Korean dance instructors or the Korean dance community to be more well globally known here in Sydney, Australia as well, because they're amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh
And I
yeah.
guess, yeah, if any other Australian companies are not going to call them, us as Koreans, like I guess it's for us to bring that across. And I think that's what refocuses on.
Oh
Mm.
yeah. Wow. That's so cool. Like it's like because you've mentioned Ryu and like marriage, like you got married at a pretty young age, not too old. Like I think it's the perfect age to get married at. Not gonna lie, you guys are like the goal marriage couple that I really dream of. You
Are you
and
sure?
Ryu. When I see you guys, it's the dream that I've always dreamt of, having a marriage life of both being creative but being able to work together? Because like when you
Mhm.
go do like an office job, you work separately and you live in one house because you guys are both creatives. Ryu is a businessman, you are a dancer, and sometimes I think you guys can give to one another and at the same time help each other in so many ways. But is has there been a lot of conflicts with the same topic but then so different characteristics about creativity?
Yeah, I definitely think, yeah, there's when a partner is doing something together, whether it's studying, whether it's thing like business, there's
Mm.
no way there won't be conflicts because you have different thoughts. But I think me and Rue is a very, very good match because I'm more always on the dancer's side or the
Mm.
student side, and he always see it in the perspective of what kind of environment he can create for everyone, where it
Mm.
clicks for everyone. So obviously there will be times when we're talking about total different things and we'll be so strong about it. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty
Mm.
of how we can think of both perspectives and kind of bring it together more. So
Wow.
I think it's, yeah,
Wow.
I think definitely conflicts, but they're very fruitful conflicts.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Like if when you're single, like when you're an individual being, you know how you think about, oh, what is my life going to be? What's my next step? What is my next chapter in life? But when you get married, does that change or is it twice as much because you have to think about marriage, what's our next chapter, plus what's my next chapter, or how does that work?
I think we were able to promise a marriage because we valued the same things. We can see that we're visualizing the same thing. So, of course, it's like you and me click, we're going the same way and we go. And through marriage, it only just became more of like a lock of, okay,
Oh,
you know, we're going to go, we're going to, even though we have different opinions, we're going to match it to one and meet in the middle.
wow.
And as a wife in the relationship, I realized this everyone might have different opinions, but as a wife, I became more certain that I want to follow my husband's steps. So whatever he wishes to go, I just have to follow that without putting too much of my ego and passion there. Then it's a very, very mutual thing that's quite healthy, I realized.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, because he is a,
Wow.
head of the what do you call it, relationship. And I
Mm,
guess you want to be a wife that supports it rather than like taking him to my end. So
yeah,
yeah, we're
yeah.
seeing a lot of good things from that right now.
Wow. Man, like, oh, there's so many things that I want to talk with you, and there's so many things that I want to really like break down in your brain because I think there's so many experiences that you've went through in your life, not just as a dancer, but just as a human being, Sarah. You've been through a lot, you've went through a lot, and I think there's so many things and stories that you can share to the people and through us and like through this medium to a lot of people. But coming back to the topic, I want to kind of talk about identity. And when it comes to identity, I think as a creative, just as a person as well, I think there's a lot of moments and seasons where it's like you define yourself as what you do rather than who you are. And I think that took me a very long time to figure out what my identity was. But has there been a identity crisis for you in figuring out who you are and what you do?
Yeah, if I kind of go back to when I was a trainee, I was only like 14 years old and 15 years old. So I guess it was a very important time for me to find out what I wanted to be. So
Mm.
before I was scouted to JYP, I guess I was only visualizing myself of being on stage and being an artist, not seeing the process that I had to take. But then as I was doing a lot of the trainings and stuff, I realized that I was losing a lot of my identity just because of the way the training system was. Like it's like you're told what to be and you're told how to do things. So there was a confusing stage for me, and I had to make a big decision of if I want to continue this or if I wanted to come out of it and grow my real self, find my real self. So
Mm.
yeah, it's still a battle especially as a dancer and as a Christian as well. You're everyone's always finding their purpose within the field that they're in, right? So it
Mm,
has been a lot of confusing stages, but it always comes to an answer when you actually go for it, when you meet the right people, when you're in more of the words, I guess. It really brings me back to who I am and who I belong to.
mm.
Yeah.
Did you have a certain moment where you kind of noticed, oh, this is who I am, and you had that confidence inside of yourself?
I think when I met Ryu, I think it was that when I was just doing what I was doing because I did it for such a long time. I thought that's me and I'm just being myself. But someone that really spoke the things that I feel like a father figure, like
Mm,
out like as a spiritual faith sense, like as God,
mm,
how the things that he'll say, you're precious, you're good, you're amazing. Like I don't think I was able to hear a lot of that as I was
mm,
growing up. I'm not just talking from my family side, it's just the environment that I was in. Like you're not
mm,
really told you're good, you're great, I love you, like that kind of stuff. Whereas like
mm.
Rue was very open about that, and he shared a lot of his love and affections towards me. So I was really able to find my identity a lot through that as well.
Wow.
Mm.
So rather than like you doing and like identifying yourself as what you do, would you say that your characteristic was built by like people around you?
Yeah, I think I do get a lot of those influences with people
Mm.
around me and what I do for them, and like how like what we do for each other and everything.
You've mentioned like purpose and then like you being a Christian. Do you think that you know what your purpose is? Like confidently, oh, this is my purpose. This is what I need to live for. This is what I'm gonna do.
Yes, so that was a long journey that took a very long time, but
Mm.
I know it's only like recent, but God has spoken to me. He told me that he has given certain gifts, so I'm not going to be satisfied doing the things that's not really used for God. And so
Mm.
I decided to take that journey to find out my purpose. Yeah, so I yeah.
Take two.
Yes, I definitely found my purpose. I know that it's been really very recent, but through God's grace, through a lot of amazing people alongside with me, I've decided and wanted to use my gift of dance for him to create more and more opportunities for this generation, so that we can use the dance and art and music to be able to praise him and give him the glory.
Wow. Wow. You know that you've mentioned like Christianity and like being open about it. You are like the owners of IMI Dance, and there's a lot of students, a lot of parents, a lot of people around you who might disagree with being Christian and religious stuff. But when opening public about, oh, I'm a Christian, I think there might be a lot of risks that may follow up with that. But considering that as well, like what made you want to make the decision of announcing like publicly that you're a Christian?
I don't know what feeling it was, but I'm just doing my normal classes, normal daily things that I do yearly on a normal basis. But something hit in my heart one day. Like I can't even acknowledge what feeling it was, but it was just like a kind of like, I can't keep doing it like this. Just I'm
Mm,
not feeling the joy with just doing these styles and classes. Like no matter how well I was doing, as in I'm so grateful to have so many students and like people that was always there for me in the classes and everything. Something just hit me where I really felt like I can't just think that this talent is mine, that I it's because it's me. Like it's not that. Like the studio itself opening and everything, like only I know how much had to go through to come to where we are, right? But
yep.
people only see the moment when they're in the life, so they just think the
Mm,
studio was there from the beginning. They think that talent or experience was there from the beginning, but only
oh yeah.
I know deep inside that this is no way possible if it wasn't through all the prayers and all the like anxiety, whatever it may be, that I had to go through. And
Mm,
the more and more you get mature with that, you can't stop but to just, that feeling where you just have to give acknowledgement to the person that helped you get through that. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just felt that that was really God for me. And I felt so bad, just keep trying to be like I'm all good outside and being like thankful to like just, the students or the people around.
Mm,
And then, yeah, it was a hard journey because it's just something so different. People are scared to do something different because they're worried to be
mm.
judged.
That's so
But
true.
then, yeah, it's just you do it. And after that, I never feared of being able to vocalize that I'm a Christian. It's actually so refreshing. And I felt like I'm in peace because I found my identity.
Wow.
And there's nothing like that when you find your identity.
Wow. That's so good. That's so good. I remember you telling me like before when you were in that transition of AO1, when AO1 started. I think it all comes down to AO1. We met up randomly in that West Strad Once Upon a Time cafe. We had that
Yeah.
DNM talk where we knew each other but didn't really get to know each other. And then from that day we were
Yeah.
like, oh, we need to make something. We need to do something. And then both being creatives, both knowing like dance and everything, we were like, oh, let's make this community. And then bam, AO1 started. We had this community of Christian dance groups.
Mm.
But I think through that experience, I've got to see so much of you, and you were so vulnerable to me. You were so humble to me and so honest that I was so grateful to see that growth and that change and that
Mm.
transition of you becoming more mature as a woman of God, not just as a dancer, I Miss Sarah, but as a woman of God. And I think that kind of blew my perspective of, oh, maybe a human being can be like that, you know? Like when I always
Yeah.
see dancers or when I see creatives, it's always like that perfect image that they need to carry because they're that person. And especially you, like, I think you're pretty famous in the Sydney industry, you know, like your IMISS.
Stop,
And
stop
I
that.
know, like for me, it's just like, oh, she's just Cheryl. But then people are like, oh, it's IMISS, and I'm just like, how burden or how heavy would that weight must be to sometimes have to carry that image of being perfect or being that image of what people defines you as, like categorizes you as. But have you ever had to put yourself in a box that would kind of be seen to what people wants to be seen rather than you being you yourself?
Mm. I definitely felt that a lot when I was actually younger and when I
Mm,
was as a trainee. And I think that kind of affected me like later, thinking that you have to be perfect.
mm,
And thinking that you have to show that perfect image when no one's expecting that here. Like I'm sure my students, my friends, they're all
yeah.
chill. They're just doing dance as a hobby, but I might have been labeling myself like that. But I know that past experiences do have an effect in who you
Mm,
currently are. So I don't
mm,
blame that, but there were moments where I was very like, am I allowed to be like this? Because I was letting go at some moments and I was trying
mm,
to get used to it, but it was like a struggle. Like to some people, it might have been normal things, but for me, it was like even a challenge to show my vulnerable, like real self to pretty much everybody, not just close people.
mm,
But yeah, after you do it, you realize that's so much more comfortable and you become yourself, then you receive that good energy, and then you're able to give that real energy as well. It's like
mm.
people don't want to see the perfect thing, from a
Mm-mm,
friend
they
as well.
don't.
You don't want to see a perfect friend. You want to see someone that's more honest to you and
Oh yeah.
sharing to you.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think I realized that a little bit too late, maybe. Maybe I always thought you had to be like on point, on sleep. You're gonna be
Mm.
perfect. When camera's on, you're gonna be boom. But yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
think
that I wasn't. I was too much like that, but still,
mm, I'm
deep
pretty
down
sure
in me.
like the Korean culture definitely affected that though,
Yeah, it
right?
did. Mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, talking about that, like did you watch what's that? Street
Straight
Woman.
woman.
Is it Street Woman fight? Did you watch it?
Of course, what are you talking about?
I
That's like
definitely
a
wanted to talk
must, a
about it.
respect as a Korean
Right? Oh my
dancer.
gosh. I was so nervous myself. I was like literally teetering in my own spot.
I know, right?
Oh,
It's just
oh
like
my
it's really
gosh.
hard to do that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh, but it's so I was pretty amazed by just like the TV show itself because like street dance or like just dance itself wouldn't really be a TV show in Korea. Like when I was there like 5 years ago, I've never imagined that dance or street dance or hip hop or whatever dance would just be known as dance in TV shows. It would always
맞아.
like backup dancing, but that was pretty 놀랬어, like really shocking for me.
That's so true. I was exactly talking about that with Rio as well. Like a dance that's up on online and just like TV, and we're all just watching it. And I'm just like, wow, like the extent like dance came to. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For sure, like the dancers, they need to be acknowledged. They've worked so hard, and it's so great to see them coming out and like being shown in the spotlight and stuff. But at the same time, it's so awkward to see that being a commercial, because like hip hop and everything about street is because it's underground, it's the street, but now it's upground, it's commercialized, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, then how would that affect the whole scene? How would that affect the whole culture? Is my kind of
Mm,
thought.
oh,
Yeah,
right.
because my mom was like, she came in last minute. She was like, oh, and then she's like, but 언더그라운드라고 하지 않았냐고, and I was like, yeah, and because my mom always used to think that hip hop and street was underground, because
Mm,
that's what I really liked about hip hop, and I kind of like educated that to my mom, and the mom is like,
mm,
but 이제 TV에 나오면은 how is that even underground? Like 이미 다 드러난 거 아니냐고, and then I was like. Oh, that's so true. Like it loses its color of being like secretive underground.
mm. Right, right, right. I think there'll be a lot of different discussions and topics about those things. But
Oh yeah.
I think for me, it's like just the fact that it's out there, and as long as it's inspiring a lot of the students and the
Oh
youth
yeah.
and everyone, I think it's just a great thing that
Oh yeah.
they're doing. Yeah. Yeah, I
Mm.
put them more focus on like, the students. If they're like really enjoying it, if they're in lockdown and that is their joy and that's bringing motivation for them, I think that's just it. It's the
Wow.
adults are doing a great job,
That's so true. I think you really have a big heart for the next generation, eh?
Oh, I guess so. Maybe it's because I'm just around them. To be honest, like when I first came here, it was like 2012, back again. Like somehow K-pop was kind of going out. It was Gangnam Style stage. So K-pop was suddenly getting a bit known. And
Yeah.
then that's how I think our studio was able to, like we were able to do a studio in
Mm.
Sydney, Australia, because K-pop was a little bit known. And
Mm.
then next minute, we're still in lockdown right now, but then suddenly the dance scene is getting quite out there. And I'm just like thinking, like, wow, God always, at perfect timings, He
Oh
just
yeah.
creates opportunities.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
So I'm
That's
so
so
grateful.
true. Yeah,
Maja,
that
maja.
K-pop boom. Have you ever wanted to be a K-pop idol though?
Yeah. And when I first, I didn't even know what difference with idol and artist or whatever it was. I just knew it as somebody that comes out on TV, you're performing on stage. So the moment I heard that JYP said yes to me, I went out within a week and I went to
Damn.
train there. So I
Damn.
guess I did really want it to be. But then,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
but then like as I was there, I totally respect everything that they do and everything as well. But it's not the lifestyle that I think I visualized. So that's why.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, I think because once you're exposed to living outside of Korea, you can't really go back to living in the Korean culture. It's too
Yeah, yeah,
tight.
yeah. 맞아. hustle, hustle.
Too much hustle. I've
Mm.
always thought like when I first came to Sydney, it was always like, oh, like 너무 지루해. There's nothing to do. There's literally nothing. And then 3 years later, I go to Korea and I'm like, ah, I cannot live in Korea. Like too
Yeah.
much, too fast, too much
So
hustle.
true.
Uh-uh. But
Too much is going on.
I do feel like because it's so chill and relaxed in Australia, it's good to like rest, good for your freedom, good for your soul. But at the same time, I feel so lazy compared to my friends in Korea.
That's true. That's true. That's
Right?
that's that's why I was a little bit feeling that as well in a lot of those
Mm,
moments.
mm.
But yeah, so that's why the creatives need to get more together in
Oh
Sydney
yeah.
as well. Then
Oh
I guess
yeah.
there'll be more fun, more opportunity.
But how do you tackle that? Like a few and a lot of few creatives, I think they really have that comparison, like competition. And when you as a creative want to really combine these people together for a better culture, for a better industry, for a better community, how do you bring those people all together so that we can reach a betterness in the industry?
Mm, I guess like because everyone like the music field's different, the dance and singing, like everywhere will be a little bit different. And I guess,
Mm,
you know, it's not there's not much opportunity or concerts or competitions that could gather everyone together. So that's why
mm,
everyone's just playing in their own field, I guess, and doing their best in their own field.
mm.
But like Australia, like, do you mean creatives as in like all the people, like for instance, like artists and dancers and movers and everything like that?
Could be. Oh, that's
Mm.
just my definition of creativity. Or, but for
Uh,
you, it might be just dancers, right? Because it's in the dancing field.
yeah, I think it's because everyone's too busy doing what they need to do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I think everyone, and then as they do that, to find motivation to do more than that, there's just a lot of work to do because it's not iksuke to people. So it
Mm,
just feels like a reach out all the time, like something that's like, oh, they're questioning. It's not like, yeah, 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 yeah. It's more of like, oh, then they need a why, like a proper reason of why
mm,
we need to do this all together. And how does that benefit me? And isn't that only benefiting you or the organizer? I guess that could play, and that's totally understandable. And
mm,
yeah, because it's just rare. It's new to people that you can
mm.
have concepts that collapse together or like it could fuse together. Maybe
That's
that's one
true.
of the reasons. So that's why like Rue, that's why when he's doing IMI Entertainment, he's doing IMIX, visuals, dancing side and music side, wants to fuse it together. But I
Mm,
won't lie, of course, Rue itself is very busy doing his own field as well. But I
mm,
guess some like if some kind of opportunity comes where like all the creatives kind of come together, then it will be the start.
mm. Wow, that's so
Mm.
true. Wow. That'd be really interesting to see. Like not just one dancer, but like musicians, dancers, artists coming together as well, and just dancers, not like dancers to students, dancers opening to workshops, but dancers to dancers, like doing a whatever it is, like not just those
Mm.
shows or not just those concerts as dancers, but something new, something radical. I think that'd be really, really
Yeah,
interesting to see.
that's so true.
But we're in
I
lockdown,
believe
so
it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Chigum is like we're in lockdown. Like no matter how much you try to think about it, it's like, yeah. I think that's the state that a lot of us are in all the time. It's like we
Yeah.
visualize it, and then there's a lot of steps to take after that.
Mm.
So just take more and more time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You I think you took your time of rest, especially doing a lot of teaching in IMI, but now you've kind of cut down your classes. Would you be going back to your regular classes when the lockdown finishes?
Yeah, when the lockdown's over, I guess we're going to be all back, and I want to be doing more and more projects with a lot of our staff members as well. So, like the
Mm,
teachers, and just making sure that everyone is getting opportunities. Because yeah, lockdown was long, and so we want to
mm,
make sure that we're, you know, creating it into a proper entertainment or a studio, um, making sure the students are happy, but also a lot of the teachers. I find that really valuable. So I'll
mm.
be spending a lot of time again with dancers.
That's so good. I mean, because you are a dancer, but I feel like you've kind of grown into a new, not a new person, but maybe like a new, I don't know, like a new, not a new age, but a new, I don't know, a new you. Because when I first saw you, I think it was like Sarah as a dancer, knowing you like, oh, I dance, I'm a dancer, I dance. But now I feel that aura of you're now like a actual owner of IMI Dance who kind of is a leader or like a mother to all. You don't
Oh
only
wow, that's a
see
big word.
yourself. It in a way, yeah, but I keep on feeling that word of a motherhood, a motherhood, where it's no longer, oh, I'm the dancer, I'm gonna teach, but it's that you give your position, you give your space to the next dancers, you kind of find opportunities, you give more chances that let goes of you yourself and your opportunities for other people. Do you feel that as well, or do you just see that it's just a gradual change in your life?
Well, that's first of all like a beautiful thing you said for me. That just sounds like really big. Of course, and that's just a human as a dancer. I always want to practice to have the heart of being to think of others first. And
Wow.
you gotta make actions to be able to do that. And so that's why I do make a lot of those decisions as well. But when I'm being really honest, when I'm at the forefront trying to do my classes and everything, for some reason I'm so focused on it that you don't have enough space to be able to see everyone, all the people
Mm.
that God placed in your life for you at that moment. And how sad is it that when you're focusing so much on yourself that you might be able to miss the chance to help somebody else grow? And I think that part hit me a lot through a lot of my experiences through the years. So I just don't want to ever make a mistake like that, and just want to spend time to be able to look around. That's why I do make a lot of those decisions as well, just to have some time to be off and see what I could help at the back end for the company, not just always at the front, because there's
Mm.
so much work at the back. But for some reasons, like always the teachers or the people that's at the forefront gets all the spotlight, which I've been
Mm.
so grateful that I've been receiving. But for a studio to run, for a company to go on, there's just so much work at the back, like all the people that's filming, those
Oh yeah.
part-time, full-time workers at the back creating those contents, people
Wow.
that are making the class available so that students
Mm.
can come. There's so much going on. And I especially feel that for Ryu. Like Ryu puts in way more effort than the amount that I do. But I just
Mm.
get spotlight like this after one class. And
Mm.
whereas like people don't know how much work that Rue does at the back. And so I
Mm.
really want to that's why I want to help a lot. I always vocalize that I want to
Mm.
help manage the studio more and stuff. But I
Wow.
won't lie, I think I'm a dancer and a teacher because it's just I try to do what we do. I want to be able to help, but
Yeah.
sometimes people need to know what you're best at. But
Mm,
yeah,
for
my heart's
sure.
there. My heart's there of wanting to be more of a mother figure, more of a sister. Then, oh
Wow.
my gosh, come look at my class and oh, the
Mm.
dancer. So yeah,
Wow.
I thank you for saying it so nicely about me, but it's just like something that I'm working on. So I'm
Wow.
so happy that you see it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I see. But I think that lifestyle or maybe that mindset or just you as a person growing that comes through your dance. And maybe because
Ooh.
like now dancing is your movement, maybe because I think you've reached a moment in life where you've danced more than 10 years and now dance is no longer a job but is a lifestyle for you, right?
Mm.
And not gonna lie, I've been seeing your dance videos from like 옛날 거 and I've been like looking at oh let's
Yeah.
look at 아니 가끔씩 봐줘야 돼. Like 근데 cause I 옛날에도 when I first saw you at what JK 그때
Yeah.
영상 그때 처음 봤었거든. And then 그때 기억이 나, like how you dance, because I'm a visual person, it's always stuck in my brain. But and then there was this moment where I saw you first at when you first started IMI, and then now
Mm.
like online classes 하면서 보여지는 those movements, I can see the change inside of your movements, and I think through your dance, your life can speak. And I think I can see that. I don't know why and how, but I feel that you've changed through your movements. Do you intentionally change the way you dance from what you apply or what you've earned or what you've gained in life? Or do you just dance and then it just comes out automatically?
Oh, I guess it's natural as well, but I definitely don't intentionally change who I
Mm.
am. I think it's just the seasons that I get interested in this and then I get interested in that. And then
Oh, yeah.
as you get interested in something, you learn it, you want to learn, you become the chase of a student. Then I guess if you learn something, you improve. So of course, compared to before, I know I came a long way. And that's what I love about dance. It's embarrassing to see your old photos, you know what I mean, right? Or
So
videos.
much.
But I realize that's just who I am. I get to see how I evolved from
Mm.
then to now. So even though there's moments I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not improving enough, I feel insecure at moments. I go look back at my old video and I'm just like, all right. Sometimes you just have to take it in and
Mm.
understand that you've improved and
Wow.
motivate yourself, and then you just got to move on. Because as a
Wow.
creative, I think everyone will feel this. You always feel like you're not enough. Like, because
Mm.
it's just a trend. People are evolving. You got to keep improving.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then when you can't catch up to that, you feel like, oh my gosh, I stopped. but then it's
Okay.
actually not. We're all improving together, but
Mm,
like we're so judgmental of ourselves.
that's so
And I realized
true.
that if I want to be a teacher that be able to teach not just dance to students, like being able to let them know to have a positive mindset, I realized is actually the most important thing as a dancer.
Oh yeah.
But I'm figuring that out later down the track as well. But
Mm,
yeah, because a lot of students do share that they feel like they're not growing anymore, that they're not good
mm.
enough. And I'm just looking at them like, do you remember when you were learning like K-pop? Like when you first came to five, like it
Oh
improved
yeah.
so much. So
Mm. Wow.
definitely.
I think that's really true because like even like in Korea when I first started dancing, it was always like you see a result of a teacher dancing and it's like, oh, I want to become that. But you see yourself and you just compare yourself with something that you shouldn't be comparing with in the first place. And then it's just like, oh, why
Mm,
am I so bad? And then you get so judgmental about yourself and then you self-hate yourself so much. But I don't think there's a lot of teachers or there's that those actual life dancers who actually teach you dance as a life culture. But so many people just teach you dance as a routine, as a movement, rather than accepting it as a life cultural
mm,
thing. Mm, mm,
right, right. Well done. It's I think it's just like that for everyone. Like everyone,
mm.
they're continuously going to struggle if this is the thing for me. Is this my life? Am I enjoying this or not? But I know that if you dance at least for like 3, 4, 5 years, it's within you. You're just in a slump.
Ooh,
I think like that. No
ooh.
matter how much you try to go away, like being able to have a hobby of dance, and if you've used your body and you've felt that mutt, like what do you call it? Like you
Yeah,
tasted what performing is and dancing is. It's just a slump that you're going in, like that
that's
you
so
feel like this
true.
is not for me. Mm,
Hey,
yeah.
what do you do when those times comes? Like when those slumps come, like what do you do? Like so many people would be like, oh, like slum프가 오더라도 you still need to practice, and they would just lessen the hour of the time that they practice. But what would you do? Do you just step away from dance and just do something totally different, or how do you? What did you do to kind of step away and grow yourself from that slump?
I was just like really thinking what I did, right? But I continued. That's my honest answer.
Wow.
Because like what I shared in the beginning, I had no other choice. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm a strong believer that responsibility sometimes really grow you as a
Oh,
person, you know. Having the responsibility, putting yourself in a position where you need to be responsible is very pressuring sometimes, of course, but there's nothing like it as well because you grow from that. And sometimes not giving up and holding on to it, but trying to continuously think of it in a different perspective, like your mindset changing is the answer to it, not giving up on it. Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, if I'm in a dance slump and I know that's my skill and I'm going through something called slump that we all know that we all go through,
Mm.
if you don't do it and you stop, you're not going to improve in it, you know, and
Yeah.
then you're going to be in a second slump again. You're going to be like a few months later, I had a rest, but then, oh, what's all this? But of
Wow.
course, it doesn't mean like suddenly like go full ham. I'm just saying, just just I still did it consistently. I
Yeah,
just knew
yeah.
that I'm gonna regret more if I stop it because I know I like it deep inside. And I know this is it.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Then what would you do to feed yourself of like motivation, inspiration, or yeah, what would you do to go out to find that?
Mm, I would first of all share with someone that's in the same field or someone that understands me because you need to be able to speak it out. And sometimes,
Mm,
say, for instance, you feel like you're in a slump. So you'll be saying it to someone that's close. Just because at the moment you want to be like very negative about it. And you're like, oh my gosh, I hate this and blah, 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 blah. You say it. But then you'll realize as you speak, it's like, oh, no, but it's not to that extent. Nah, no,
mm,
no. You know what I mean? You answer your
yeah.
own question by speaking it. It's like, for instance, you had a
That's
fight
so
with your
true.
partner, like your partner, and then you just want to talk about that person to your friend, and you're like, oh my gosh, he did this, he did that. And then when that partner is just like, that friend is like, oh yeah, like he's such a bad. And then when they start saying negative about your partner, you suddenly feel like, hey, 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 it's not to that extent. He's not that bad. I think that kind of
Uh,
thing. It's just
Mm,
as you're like, oh, I'm gonna never do this ever again. And then you kind of think about it at night, you soak it in and you're like, nah, but then this is what I like the most. It's
mm.
well, pretty good at it. Yeah, I think I
Ooh,
just did that cycle of thing. Um,
damn. I think you're
mm.
just a very embedded dancer. Yeah. 'Cause when I had my slump, I was like full on, I don't want to dance. And then I would just, I don't know what I did. It's just, I just did not dance at that time at all.
Yeah. I might have. Maybe if my position or responsibility was different, I'm not sure. But
True.
I'm grateful that I had responsibility.
Wow. That's so true. Wow. 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 But when I see your movements, I think the very honest that I felt right now is your 동작, like the reaches of your body movement is bigger. I,
Is
I
it?
don't know. Yeah, like 옛날, like if it was like age back in the days, I don't know how old it would be. It would be more focused on like your fingers and more detailed with like inner body here. But
Right,
now
yeah.
it's like a bigger movement. Like your reach is bigger, and because you're tall and like you're really long as well, that kind of is the longness of your body, I guess. I don't know, like the long and the, I don't know how you say it, but that's more emphasized. Yeah.
Ooh,
And I
that's
really
good.
like
That's a
it.
good
I
thing. That's
really
what I've
like it.
always wanted to be, and I have worked hard for it. So I'm so happy to hear
Ooh.
that. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason I had really long arms, but I was like all over here. Like I was
Over
just like,
here, over here.
like I'm just here. But yeah, that was one of my goals that I as I realized through filming and stuff. I'm like, wow, when you find your weakness, that was one of my weaknesses. So
Ooh.
thankful for that.
Yeah, it's so 멋있어. Like for real, 봐도 봐도 it's always so cool to see you dance. 멋있어.
Thank you. Hey, enough of my dancing. 쑥스럽다, 쑥스러워.
Apart from dance,
이렇게
then, is there
칭찬을
anything?
한 바가지 받으니까 I'm just like,
Take it in, take it
oh,
in. But apart from dance, is there anything that you want to focus on?
hmm. Um, other than dance, is there anything that I want to focus on? Yes, so I do want to focus on helping the entertainment, the studio company continuously grow and
Mm,
seeing what my positions could be more than just dancing and being a teacher. I guess trying to find those other small things that I could help out with. Street Woman Fight is really making me like find this passion, like where it's just like, you know what, teaching is good as well, but like 뭔가 팀도 하고 싶기도 하고, like,
mm.
it's just growing as a dancer. I'm so into whacking right now. I'm like full going ham on whacking. Yeah, sorry, let's go back into podcast. I'm
Ooh.
doing like friend
Oh.
talk with you. 너무
Whacking.
재밌어.
Wow. Okay, okay. That's pretty cool. I guess for a very long time you've been more focused on choreography, right?
I really want to learn whacking. I want to get a bit more deep into it. I want to learn the history, the foundations, whatever it may be, and really focusing on like more than like it's so fun. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
working on
Wow.
the foundations and just knowing how to control your body more just is
Mm.
very exciting for me. Mm.
Damn. 근데 walking 하면 진짜 잘하겠다 because your arms are so long.
It's so long that I don't know how to control it well, but finding something that's going to
Wow.
help in the improvement is exciting me. Yeah.
Wow. How do you think you integrate dancing and life?
Mm. Like, I think whatever you're doing the most in your throughout your week is something that identifies you most, right? So I start to think like that. I'm like, okay, what is my identity? And then I'm just like trying to find little answers. I'm like, maybe is it this? Maybe is it that? But the easiest way to find that out is just look at what you're doing throughout the week. What do you do the most?
Wow.
And I'm just like, oh, there's like, I can't even question and like what it is for me. It's dance.
Mm,
So
mm,
it means it's
mm.
my happiness. It's my
Wow.
sadness. Sometimes there will be mixed emotions, of course, but just improving in what I'm doing most in is going to help me find the joy in life, I guess.
Wow. Damn. Oh, I never thought about it that way. I've always kind of went out my ways to kind of justify my identity as, I don't know, like who I am or what my characteristics are or what I do. But wow, maybe my identity right now is podcast
Because you're doing that. It is. You like speaking, you
24/7.
like putting your
Oh yeah.
strength together.
Right now is lockdown and all you can do is just stay home. Is there anything that you want to improve on yourself during this time of lockdown?
Of course, becoming a better person. I know that's really broad, but I do want more than like I want to improve in this skill, I want to improve in that, I want to improve in this. It's just becoming a better person,
Wow.
being a better wife, seeing
Ooh.
seeing things that putting the focus from you to others is what I want to practice to do during this time, because it's all about me, me, me. And I realize I've been doing
Mm.
that as well. And yeah, I hope to work on that. And wait, let
Oh.
me add one more thing to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess building more confidence in yourself of just being able to be who you are. So you don't have to feel pressure to come out of this lockdown as like something crazy improvement. It's just the mindset and the confidence of who you are already and how much you've came already. And I just think
Mm.
that's very important.
That's so true. Like when you mentioned me, I think the whole society kind of runs on that where it feeds you to focus on you and not others. And especially in this time of lockdown, we can't really connect or communicate with other people that you tend to just be on your phone and just focus on yourself. And I'm a bit afraid that when this lockdown finishes, everyone's going to be so selfish and fed up with their own selves and not loving.
Mm, mm. Or they might be
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I want to see people.
And
So
the
their
next
love
photo.
grows a bit there.
That's so true. It could be. I hope it is. I really wish that everyone could be loving. Ah, but
It
yeah,
will be. Everyone's locked down at home way too long.
too long, too long. Well, hopefully it'll finish soon, right?
I think it will be. 맞아, 너도 안 본지 오래됐다. It's been ages since I haven't seen you.
It has been. I miss your beautiful face.
You're seeing enough of it. Way too long. Way too long today.
Well, before we go, the very last question that I want to ask you is there anything you'd like to leave behind in the lab before you go?
Oh yeah, it's like leave behind, right? Ooh. So it's
Hmm.
like a message to myself, or
It could be for yourself, it can be for anyone who listens, or for your future self, or yeah.
oh, okay. Um, I guess I would be older than how I look like right now. When I look back at it later on. Uh, I guess what I would like to say to myself as someone that will be looking at it later on, like just knowing that I'm doing well, just really knowing to practice to say to yourself that you're doing good. God loves you the way you are. Being grateful during these times is very important, and hoping that I'll be someone that's working towards a goal, like what I've kept mentioning, that is not focused on myself, but trying to focus to see what other things you can do for people and this world. And I guess when I see this later on, I'll be able to keep myself accountable of what I felt till this moment. So
Mm.
yeah, that's what I want to say to myself. And also, I just want to say to all my friends and students and team members, like everyone around me, that I'm just really grateful for all of you. Thank you for everyone who's taken the journey together with me since we first met. And I'm so proud of how much we've came, and I hope we know that we're doing a great job. Hope that we still stay together and continue to create much more memories and building on this community, not just for dance but just this whole community that we have right now, until we are old.
Better. Yes, until we are old. Create
아니야, 아니야,
memories
아니야.
until we are old.
아, 나
Oh,
진짜
that's
영상
so
편지도
funny.
못하겠어.
Ah, that's so
다시 한
funny.
번. 컷.
Well, that's it
아,
for
힘들어.
today's.
야, 안 돼, 안 돼, 안 돼. Until we are old.
Well, that is
야,
it. 막 이래.
약간 영상 편지가 오글거리는구나. Okay, let me do it again.
Okay, cut.
Cut. So I just wanted to give a message to all my friends and students and family members, just everyone around me, that I'm just really, really grateful for all of you, especially being in this lockdown makes me feel more of that heart of how precious it was, all the times that we spent together, being able to be face to face. So I hope that you guys are all doing well. And just thank you to everyone following this journey with me for such a long time. I hope that we can create much more memories together and build this community stronger as well. Thank you.
Woo! Well, that's it for today's lab sesh. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being our special experiment of the day. For anyone who's listening, you can find us on Instagram at leaveitallbehind_lab. Hit that follow button, get updated with more guests that is to come, and see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Peace.